I want to ask a question here. If you have a special needs sibling or you're a parent to a special needs person, please say hi on the comment section. Another thing, I want to know how old your special needs child is or your sibling is. Then I can break down mine to you. So my sister Joy Ibabi Newton is a 23-year-old non-verbal autistic person. We all know that the spectrum is very wide, and she's a very, very intelligent young lady. Since I was little, I've always prayed for a kid sister, and Joy came. Joy was the most beautiful child I've ever seen in my entire life. She was so pretty. Oh my God. She had this really, really glowy eyes. And then 1 week after her birth, she had convulsion and my parents rushed her to the hospital. This was the same period we had this bomb blast in Ikeja. If you're in Lagos and you're familiar with this story, in 2000. So we were running away from the bomb blast, and also we're trying to take care of Joy. Why am I saying all of this, right? I grew up with this young lady, and growing up with her changed my mindset. I don't know if it's just me, but having a special need person in your house makes you really, really different. You're kind-hearted. You're extremely careful. You're very, very defensive about your sibling or your child. When I mean defensive, I remember growing up and going out with her, and when people stare at her, I would always fight. Like, why are you looking at her? Haven't you seen a fine girl before? And then maybe when someone looks for her trouble, oh, she has a big sister that'll fight for her. We grew up with Joy, treating her like a normal person, talking to her like normal person, sending her to do chores. We treated her special, but a different kind of special, right? We would ask her to do chores. We would tell her that if she doesn't learn how to do things, she's going to be on her own one day. And looking at where we're coming from, a society like Nigeria who don't really care about special needs people, she has to stand up for herself at some point in her life. The only thing we didn't get right was her diagnosis. We didn't really know what she had until she was grown. Joy went to a mainstream school, like normal mainstream school, but she found it very, very difficult to learn. But then we were still pushing her because we thought it was going to change. After some years, it was time for me to leave for university, and that was where I got separated from her. And then when my parents call, I'd still hear from her. And then one day I told Joy, I said, when I have my house, when I start staying alone, you will come stay with me. That gave her so much joy that finally she would stay with her big sister. But when I told my parents this, they said, you always travel. You're always out of town. Who is going to look after her when you're not home? And that hits me because I wanted to teach Joy the way of life. I wanted her to learn from me. I wanted to know what she had if I could find solution to whatever the problem was. That was what I thought. And then finally I told her, Joy, you can't stay with me anymore because if I go out of the house, how are you going to eat? What will you cook? You don't know how to cook. And then she stayed back at my mom's, and she was learning. She learned how to do some of things by herself, because in the society where she grew up, it's a tough one. You grew up in Nigeria as a special needs person into a family that don't have an idea of what you have. It is crazy, really crazy. So she had to cope with a lot of things, and that actually made her street intelligent. Joy is very, very intelligent, and also she's street smart. She knows what is wrong and what is right, and sometimes she knows when she lies and when she says the truth. So being with somebody like her has taught me how to be very, very kind, very, very careful, and very thoughtful of how I talk to people, and very, very empathetic. I am so empathetic. I think we all are empathetic in my household because we cry about every little thing. And sometimes I know you feel like the special need person is a burden to you, but deep down they're a blessing in disguise. I used to think that I was alone. Until I posted Joy's story and I found out that I have thousands of people that are on the same shoe and boat as me. Now the question is, how do you handle your special need child and sibling? Please respond on the comments. I'll be reading.